What's going on with y'all boys, man? It's Kymanijb back with another video, man. In today's video, we are here with another installment of Good Enough, the wealthiest freak show stars ever. I mean, I'm surprised. This is the first time you ever said usually he adds, to ever exist or ever, We're gonna get into this video, man. We hit 500 subs, only rolled to 600 subs. Without further ado, let's get into this Good Enough, the wealthiest freak show stars video.
Slowly work our way towards the ones that became multi-millionaires. Okay. Number 6, the three-legged man.
Bitch, 3 legs. Oh, he had him a little schlong on him. You trying to say
Lentini was born in 1889.
Bitch, 1, 2. He has 3 legs. Nigga, where your dick? What the fuck? How you got 3 legs?
In Sicily, to
what
parents that were so ashamed of his appearance that they outright refused to raise him. You see, Frank was born with a rare condition known as parasitic twinning, which is when a twin absorbs their siblings' powers in the womb.
Powers
but in this
crazy,
case,
but I heard of
the
that.
move backfired and gave him 3 legs and 4 feet. By the age of 5, Frank, who hated his appearance, was placed in a special...
What? Hold on, 3 legs and 4 feet. How the fuck does that work? Okay, I clearly see 3 legs, but I see 3 fucking feet as well. What the fuck is this? Oh my god, this is the foot. This is the 4th foot.
Legs and 4 feet.
Oh
By the age of 5, Frank, who hated his appearance, was placed in a special group home with other disabled children. There, Frank met children with some of the most horrific disabilities imaginable. But one thing stood out to him, something that would forever change his life. He never once heard the children complain about their disabilities. And from that moment on, he swore to do the same. By the young age of 8, Frank was taken to the US and placed in a sideshow as a performer. Frank spent the next 40 years working at the biggest sideshows in the country, from Ringling Brothers Circus to Barnum and Bailey and Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, becoming one of the most famous and sought-after performers of his time.
I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Before basketball and shit like that, it was this. Word. Before packed out arenas, it was this. Coming to see a 3-legged nigga. I swear to God.
At his peak, he earned around $500 per week,
that was
around $15,000 in today's money. People raved about his hilarious personality, as he treated his act more like stand-up comedy. He cracked jokes like how he was the only man on the planet who never needed a chair, then sat on his 3rd leg like a stool. He also joked that anytime he bought shoes, he obviously had to buy 2 pairs, giving the leftover shoe to his co-worker, who only had 1 leg. But after 40 years of touring, Frank finally settled down, retired, got...
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I can look at this and say, you know what? One day I'll find my true love. Because a nigga with 3 legs got him a baddie, I can get one too. But at the same time, my hating ass, if he can get one, shit, why can't I? The fuck?
Married and had 4 children. After the age of 5, Frank never viewed his disability as a negative, stating many times that we all need to accept what makes us different, as that is what makes us unique, and even calling his deformity his greatest blessing. By the time Frank died in 1966, he had earned over $1 million in today's money and had provided himself and his family with a very comfortable life. Number 5, the bearded lady. Annie Jones was born on July 14th.
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen American Horror Story. I don't know how true it is. I've seen the freak show. I don't know how true it is, but I remember the bearded lady. I remember.
1865 in Virginia. When she was born, her parents were shocked to discover that she was born with facial hair. But the shock quickly wore off when they realized that they had been presented with a rare money-making opportunity. Thankfully, Annie had an entirely normal 9 months of life before her parents handed her off to P.T. Barnum, one of the most prolific American showmen in history. Her family accepted an allowance of $150 per week, making her one of, if not the youngest sideshow performers in history. Annie was born with a condition that caused thick hair to grow around her entire body and face. And by the age of 5, she had a mustache, sideburns, and a beard. She was...
And I bet you, look! By the age of 5, her middle shit growing in. Look at my shit. Look at my shit, y'all. No. Zoom in. Look. I'm pushing 30 and I don't even have this. I can't do this, bro. I can't keep doing this, bro.
given the name The Bearded Lady. And for the next 37 years, Annie would remain in the sideshow business, becoming one of the most famous performers in history. As she grew older, she became well known for her gracious manners, sophistication, and her skills with musical instruments, which she played as part of her performance. She made it a priority for people to see that sideshow performers weren't freaks, like the media and businessmen had painted them out to be. In the end, Annie would know no other life than that of a touring sideshow performer, traveling across the US and Europe until the day she died. It's estimated that she made anywhere from $1 to $4 million in today's money throughout her career and lived a very comfortable life. Number 4, the original Siamese twins. Chang and Ang Bunker were conjoined twins who lived.
I did not know that. Okay, they was Asians. Okay.
One of the most fascinating lives you will ever hear about. Born in a small fishing village in modern-day Thailand, they were bought and brought to the U.S. at the age of 17.
Like he completely said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna make you an eyeball," and put 2 fucking stick figure arms and legs on you, a top hat, and some African dad slides.
They were immediately placed in a sideshow,
touring
across the US, Canada, and Europe. But eventually, the brothers created and owned their own show, eliminating the middleman and earning a ton of money. After a decade, the brothers had made enough to retire incredibly wealthy. They became American citizens, bought around 18 slaves, hundreds of acres of land, married 2
Good enough. We're not gonna pass up on that. Like
citizens, that's around
normal.
18 slaves.
What the fuck? So they came to America, got their cheese, and these 2 punk ass niggas got slaves. These 2 foreign niggas owned black people. Hopefully it was just random niggas. But I know America with 3 Ks. I know how they work. So I'm not even gonna.
Hundreds of acres of land, married 2 sisters, and had 21 children. They were so wealthy that by the 1840s, the brothers' property was the 3rd most valuable in the country. Their families lived in separate houses, which they alternated
at first, I fuck with them. Nah, I don't like them.
3 days.
I want to fight
here's where things get interesting. The twins.
I know they did, but no. I want to fight the offsprings. Word 2, I want to fight the offsprings.
Were turned upside down when the Civil War began, and by the time it ended, they had lost an enormous amount of their fortune and all of their slaves. To recuperate some of their losses, they began a tour once again. However, this time, audiences were reluctant to support them because they had backed the Confederate movement. In their final days,
What's the name?
Chang's health had deteriorated.
I was about to say the most crazy shit ever. Weak ass niggas.
Deteriorated, and he began to drink heavily. In January 1874, Chang contracted bronchitis and was assigned to bed rest. And on the morning of January 17th, Ang woke up to discover that his brother had died in his sleep. Ang, who was completely healthy, told his family that now that Chang was gone, it was his time to go as well. And within a couple of hours, Ang was dead. Some say that he died from a lack of blood circulation, while others say he died from shock or fright from seeing his dead twin. The craziest part is, if the twins had been born today, surgeons could have easily separated them. In the end, the brothers went from living in poverty to living among the elite as incredibly wealthy men, earning over $4 million and amassing a net worth of over $1.8 million in today's money. Number 3, the 4-legged girl. Myrtle Corbin was born.
What the fuck? This bitch got 4 legs. What the fuck?
On May 12, 1868 in Tennessee. She was born with 2 pelvises and 4 legs due to a rare form of conjoined twinning. Myrtle's mother began showcasing her daughter by the age of 1, claiming that the money would be used to help fund her education. But by the age of 12, she was placed in a sideshow as a performer under the name The 4-Legged Girl and very quickly became a star.
That's the one thing with them niggas. They don't have no originality. They don't want to give no, I mean, duh, nigga, I'm the 4-legged bitch. But I mean, shit, give me something. Squid Girl, I don't know, something.
Attracting long lines of people eager to meet and see her. She became so popular that many other sideshows falsely claimed to have 4-legged girls as well, only for audiences to discover that they were complete scams. Myrtle's popularity skyrocketed further when she joined P.T. Barnum and later Ringling Brothers, earning $450 per week,
How much
or
is that?
around $14,000 in today's
Jeez,
money.
nigga,
She continued
jeez.
performing for roughly 12 years, earning around $4 to $5 million in today's value. Myrtle eventually got married, had 5 children, and retired to live a comfortable and quiet life in Texas with her family until the day she died. She was later buried, and her casket was completely encased in concrete. Several
What?
family members stood over the drying concrete until it was fully set to prevent grave robbers from stealing
that
her
makes sense, that
corpse,
makes sense, that makes
since
sense, that makes
multiple
sense.
showmen had offered large sums of money for her remains.
That makes sense.
Number 2,
That does.
Zip the Pinhead. One of the most famous and misunderstood sideshow performers in history has to be William Henry Johnson, known to the world
brother?
as Zip the Pinhead.
Why does that sound so familiar? But my brother?
History has to be William Henry Johnson.
That's a black nigga. No, I know a black nigga when I see a black nigga. Look at the nose. That's a nigga.
known to the world as Zip the Pinhead. William was born in New
What'd he do?
Jersey
What his
sometime around
powers?
1842
What
to
his
a very
powers?
poor African-American family. He was
Okay.
one of 6 children born to parents who were former slaves. He was born with a rare condition that caused him to have a small tapered head, while the rest of his body grew to
little-
normal size. William
Oh,
lived
wow.
with his family in extreme poverty until the age of 18, when P.T. Barnum discovered him and recruited him into his sideshow.
This nigga
known
P.T.
as the
Barnum, he like them scouts at the watching them AAU games. Hell yeah, nigga. How you know about this talent?
greatest show on earth. William was paid $100 a week, but was definitely exploited.
For
He was
sure.
made to dress in strange outfits as the shape of his
That makes
head,
sense,
and was
but-
advertised under headlines like "What is it?" and "The Missing Link."
Oh
then there
my
was his
God.
act. He was placed inside a cage
A
where he would
cage?
violently shake the metal bars and screech at people as they walked by,
Like a
with the
fucking
showman describing him
animal.
as a wild man who only ate raw meat, nuts, and
What?
fruits. Surprisingly,
I know the fruits, but raw meat, no, you're killing us. I get the nuts and the fruits. That makes sense.
he quickly became one of the most
the raw meat,
famous
nigga?
and popular sideshow performers in history. It wouldn't be until years later that he finally grew tired of being portrayed as a wild
Okay,
animal and
okay.
only agreed to perform as himself.
Okay, I like
standing
that.
proudly amongst his
Where you
fellow
at?
performers.
Ooh, look at my dog. In a place where you actually look like a normal nigga, bro. Oh my gosh. I think there's twins. Yes. I know y'all too. Shit, do I know anybody else from this freak show shit? Nigga
And
Hasbullah.
choice he
Nigga
stayed true
Hasbullah in this bitch with a couple bitches. They got my nigga Hasbullah.
for the rest of his career.
Oh,
Outside
nigga.
of the sideshow, William was nothing like the character he portrayed in his act. He was described as intelligent,
course.
kind, generous, and well-mannered.
Of course.
On one occasion,
They had
he even
him-
made the news when he dove into the ocean
I
and
know.
saved a young girl from
Yes.
drowning. It's
Yes.
estimated that in his 67-year career, he
damn,
entertained over
67.
100 million people and earned somewhere between $5 to $7 million in
Not enough.
today's money, providing
Not
a
enough. What can
comfortable
you say?
life
Not
for
enough.
himself and his
No.
family. A life they had never known.
That's tough,
Number
though.
1, General Tom
last
Thumb.
one.
There is no other sideshow performer in history that was
Okay.
more famous or wealthy than Charles Sherwood Stratton.
Okay,
better
what I
known
tell you, Hasbullah, what I tell you.
as General Tom Thumb,
Yep,
an
Hasbullah.
absolute superstar of his time. Charles Stratton was one of the most famous performers of the 19th century and an international sensation. And with pictures like these, it's incredibly obvious.
Hasbullah,
that he
what you doing in
glorified
this
his way to the
bitch,
top.
nigga?
But let's start at the beginning. Charles was born on January 4th, 1838 in Connecticut. For the first 6 months of his life, everything seemed normal. But when he was 6 months old, he suddenly stopped growing. And by the
What?
age of 1, he was still the exact same size.
Wow.
And by age 5, he had only grown an inch.
What?
He was diagnosed with proportionate dwarfism. Around this time, word had spread to P.T. Barnum, and of course, he soon came knocking. After negotiating
Niggas
a
like
deal
Willy
with Charles's
Wonka, my
father,
nigga.
he was taken to perform in Barnum's sideshow. Even though
Get your
Charles
ass
was
on.
only 5 years old, he was a natural entertainer.
Wow.
His act consisted of dancing, singing, impersonations, and comedic performances. His popularity quickly exploded, and the name General Tom Thumb became a household name. Charles was so famous that he couldn't go anywhere in the US or Europe without being mobbed by large crowds.
Wow.
He quickly surpassed any living actor or musician of his time. You see, before Charles came along, freak shows and sideshows were seen as distasteful entertainment. But after his theatrical performances, like his movie-like plays, the culture shifted, and the audience began to appreciate the performers as true entertainers. Charles was such a great actor on stage that critics judged him on the merits of a professional entertainer, not as a sideshow performer. Charles was making around $50,000 per year, or around $2 million in today's money, making him one of, if not the highest paid celebrities of his time. His career spanned over 40 years, in which he made over $20 million
20
in today's
M's?
money. In 1863, Charles's wedding hosted 10,000 guests and became front-page news, eclipsing all articles covering the Civil War for days. In the end, Charles owned many fine homes, including one in the most prestigious neighborhood in New York, a steam yacht.
Nah, why they got my man? Why they playing with my boy? Why they playing with Hasbulla like that? Nah.
Many fine homes, including one in the most prestigious neighborhood in New York, a steam yacht, elegant clothing, and several businesses. But on July 15th, 1883...
So he's the reason why my back big as hell. Well, my back was big as hell. Wow.
Age of 45, Charles Stratton unexpectedly died of a stroke. News of his untimely death quickly spread across the world, and a few days later, over 20,000 people showed up to his funeral to pay their final respects to a man who entertained millions across the globe. P.T. Barnum, the man who had taken him under his wing at the age of 5, personally paid for his larger-than-life tombstone, representing the impact and legacy he had left behind. And at the very top of it all, standing proudly, a life-size replica of General
I was about to hate, but
it wouldn't be for another 36 years that he would finally be reunited with his wife, who was laid to rest beside him. She chose her tombstone to simply read, his wife.
Alright, y'all boys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed another installment of Good Enough. We hit 500 subs. Hopefully by the time this video posts, we hit 600 subs. I'ma see y'all in the next video. Make sure y'all boys stay safe. I love y'all boys. Peace, man.